Jimmy Kimmel tried to shut Elon down with sarcasm and smug laughs, but Elon stayed calm. He got kicked off the show and then answered in a way that made the whole country stop and listen. It was supposed to be a normal, relaxed Thursday night in Los Angeles. The crowd at Jimmy Kimmel Live was enjoying the show. They had already laughed at the opening jokes. Everything felt like a typical late-night show, until Elon Musk walked onto the stage. He didn't wear anything flashy, just a dark jacket, a black tie, and that calm look he always has, like he's wearing confidence as armor. The crowd clapped loudly. Some even cheered. But there was a bit of tension in the air. Elon smiled a little, nodded at Jimmy, and sat down. At first, the conversation was light. Jimmy welcomed him and made a joke about SpaceX delays. Elon laughed, but then the mood changed. Jimmy picked up some note cards and grinned. But it was a fake grin. He asked, "So, how does it feel owning a platform where conspiracy theories and memes are like currency?" The audience laughed. Elon didn't. He calmly said, "I think people are tired of filtered stories. They want truth, even if it's messy, and I'm okay with messy." Jimmy leaned in. "Sure," he said, "but people say crazy stuff on X. Don't you worry you're giving them a microphone?" Elon tilted his head. "I worry more about people who think some voices shouldn't be heard." There was silence. No dramatic music. No spotlight. Just a moment that hit hard. Jimmy tried to change the subject, but instead he pushed more. "Come on, man," he said sarcastically. "You act like you want to save everyone, but don't stand with anyone." That line hit a nerve. Elon's smile disappeared. He didn't yell. He just stared at Jimmy, quiet for a few seconds too long. "I came here to talk about technology, about innovation, maybe even share something new. But if you want to talk politics, let's not pretend you're neutral." The crowd felt it. Something had shifted. Some clapped. Others just sat there unsure. Jimmy shrugged. "Hey, I'm just asking questions. It's my job." "And it's mine to answer honestly," Elon said calmly. "But let's not pretend this is a real conversation. It's clearly an ambush." "The DA," crowd murmured. Jimmy's smile faded. He looked unsure for the first time. "Well," he said, standing up, "if this isn't the interview you expected, you're free to go." The camera crew paused. Elon didn't move at first. Then he stood and said, "I expected more from you, from this platform. Security came over, not aggressive, just awkward. A stage manager whispered something." Elon nodded, tired, and walked off the stage. The cameras cut back to Jimmy. He gave a nervous laugh and said, "Well, that escalated." But it didn't feel like a joke. It felt like something broke. Backstage, away from the lights, things got quiet. Cold. A young assistant tried to lead Elon to the exit, but Elon asked, "Where's Kimmel?" Probably in his dressing room," they said. "You should—" "I didn't ask what I should do. I asked where he is." Elon turned the corner before they could stop him. A security guard followed. Jimmy was stepping out of the green room, rubbing his neck, clearly stressed. He didn't expect to see Elon again. "So soon. What now?" Jimmy sighed. Elon stood still. "You invited me here. Then you made it about your own agenda. Then you kicked me off. Just admit it." Jimmy gave a cold laugh. "Oh, please. You're a billionaire with fans. Don't act like a victim." "It's not about me," Elon replied. "It's about what you tried to turn this into. You don't want conversation. You want control." That line hit hard. Nearby, a crew member was secretly recording just in case. He hadn't meant to film this, but the moment was real. Jimmy shot back, "You talk about free speech, but you've created chaos. That's not freedom. It's noise." Elon stood. Firm. "No," he said. "Noise is when you silence one side and call it balance." They both fell silent. The hallway buzzed softly with lights overhead. It wasn't a fight, but it was real. One man backed by Hollywood, the other backed by something harder to control, Then Elon looked at the staff and said, "Clip this, twist it if you want. Or maybe, for once, let people hear the truth." He walked away. No mic, no spotlight, just the sound of the door closing. Behind him. Hours later, just after midnight, a 90-second video appeared on X. No graphics, no edits. Just Elon in the hallway, calm and clear, calling out the double standards, speaking like a man who didn't need a stage to be heard. At first, just a few thousand views. By morning, 5 million. By noon, the whole world was talking. The next morning, it was everywhere. Big news sites posted headlines. Some said, "Elon melts down on Kimmel." Others said, "Uncut Elon clip sparks free speech debate." But the people weren't fooled. They had seen the original video. They watched Elon stay calm, watched Jimmy get uncomfortable, and realized this wasn't about ego. It was about something bigger. Truth. Control. And the cracks in the systems we're told to trust. But the real storm hadn't even started yet. Because what the public was about to do with that video caught everyone by surprise. By the time coffee shops opened in Portland and gas stations lit up in Ohio, millions had already seen it. Elon's quiet, powerful takedown. That blurry backstage. Clip had spread across the world in 6 hours, faster than any TV broadcast could dream of, and people weren't just watching, they were reacting. Loudly. On X, the response exploded. The hashtag, or Stand with Elon, shot to the top. And it wasn't just tech fans or Tesla people, teachers, war veterans, small-town mayors, even folks from Kansas, all started quoting Elon's words. "You don't want conversation. You want control." That one sentence became an anthem overnight. Of course, not everyone agreed. It's the internet. Opinions go in all directions. Some people trended, "Nagar Kimmel was right." Others pushed Agar Musk meltdown. They said Elon was just acting, trying to play the victim, pretending to be a hero. Some said it was another rich guy crying about criticism. But this time, something was different. This wasn't a PR stunt. There were no press releases, no carefully written tweets. Elon didn't even post for 12 hours, and in that silence, the public filled the space. Clips of the show, the backstage video, people's reactions, they flooded TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, YouTube. Some broke the video down frame by frame. Others compared Jimmy's broadcast to the real raw footage. It was everywhere. Then came the experts. Dr. Leonora Hastings, a respected media ethics professor, posted a thread calling Kimmel's interview a calculated misuse of influence. She warned, if late-night hosts become political attackers, we lose the point of public debate. Even comedians joined in. Daryl Nye tweeted, "I make fun of Musk all the time, but this time, Kimmel tried to turn him into a joke and got wrecked by facts. And Jimmy? He stayed silent. No tweets. No statement. Nothing." ABC's PR team gave a weak excuse. The interview ended early due to time. Nobody believed it. Even TMZ called it the worst cover-up since a celebrity birthday fight. Then something wild happened. People who had felt silenced for years started reposting the clip. Small creators, independent journalists, scientists who lost jobs for unpopular opinions. They added their own stories. Suddenly, the question wasn't, "Do you agree with Elon Musk?" It was, "What does it say about us if this kind of honest conversation isn't allowed?" The internet had cracked open a deeper frustration. People were tired. Tired of being told what's okay to say. Tired of someone else deciding who gets a voice and who doesn't. Then finally, Elon broke his silence. No caption. Just a screenshot from the video, where he said, "Let people hear it as it happened." 5 million views in under 2 hours. But it wasn't over yet. While the media scrambled to control the story, Elon was planning something bigger, something that made the Kimmel clip look like just the warm-up. And just before going live, he made a phone call. To someone no one expected. 2 days after the clip exploded, a quiet alert popped up on X. Elon Musk is live. No teaser, no promotion, just a black screen. Then it focused, Elon sitting in a simple chair. No logos, no set, just a bookshelf and a lamp. He looked calm, serious. No makeup, no rehearsed speech. Over 900,000 people joined in 5 minutes. "All right," he said plainly. "I didn't want to go back and forth on morning shows or tweet storms. I just wanted to talk to people directly. That used to be normal." He paused, then said, "I don't care that Jimmy didn't like my answers. I care that he never wanted them in the first place." Comments flooded the screen, but Elon wasn't looking at them. He wasn't performing. Then came the surprise. Elon introduced his guests. Not celebrities, not influencers, real people. Voices that had been silenced. Jenna Aoki, a science journalist. Banned for reporting on lab leak theories. Christopher Darnell, a software developer who lost jobs for refusing to censor his AI model. Dr. Lionel Rivera, a former advisor who warned about digital censorship years before it became news. They didn't rant. They didn't preach. They just told their stories, what it felt like to be shut out. Not for being hateful, just for asking questions. Elon leaned back. He didn't talk over them. He let it breathe. Then finally, he spoke. "Freedom of speech," he said, "isn't about who you agree with. It's about letting people speak, even when it's hard." "Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences," Elon said. "I get that. But lately, consequences feel more like being erased." He wasn't trying to be poetic. He just wanted to be heard. Across America, people were watching. On phones, laptops, TVs, truck drivers in Nevada, nurses on break in Nebraska, college students in Boise. Not everyone agreed with him, but they listened. Then something happened. No one expected. Halfway through the stream, Elon shifted the topic. "Why do we accept," he asked, "that the only way to speak to the public is through late-night shows or cable anchors? Why are we still asking for permission to speak?" The comments exploded. People flooded the chat with their own stories. Times they were silenced, ignored, mocked. Some were big. Some were small. But all of them mattered. The chat wasn't just a feed. It became a wall of real voices, all rising at once. Then, without warning, the screen split. In the corner appeared a face, familiar to some, unknown to others, Aria Salter. Not a TV anchor, not a celebrity, an independent journalist from Tulsa. She looked right at Elon and said, "I've been watching. I think we're not just seeing a moment, we're witnessing a shift. If people can speak without filters, what does that mean for platforms like mine or yours?" Elon paused, looked at her, then looked into the camera. "It means they'll try to shut it down, but it also means we build something new." By the time the stream ended, almost 2 hours later, 23 million people had watched some part of it. No ads, no edits, just truth, but the impact wouldn't stay online. Hollywood was watching the next morning. The entertainment world reacted, like a hive had just been kicked open. Inside studios across Los Angeles, from Burbank to Culver City, meetings were called. Emails flew. Phone lines buzzed with panic. This wasn't about Elon going off script. It was that millions had tuned in and stayed. And Hollywood doesn't like losing control. The first move was quiet. News outlets released op-eds, one after another. They called the stream reckless, misleading, a threat to public trust. Morning TV anchors repeated the same lines, almost word for word. The coordination was too obvious to ignore. But damage control wasn't working. Then, a leak. In Santa Clara, a freelance producer leaked screenshots from ABC's internal emails. They were debating whether to pull every clip related to Elon. Not just the Kimmel interview, all of it. It looked like they weren't just reacting. They were trying to erase the moment, and people noticed. Then came the sponsors. Within 48 hours, Three major advertisers quietly pulled support from Jimmy Kimmel Live. One of them, a big insurance company from Des Moines, posted just one line, publicly, "We support dialogue, not censorship." Kimmel breaks the silence. That evening, Jimmy Kimmel finally addressed the situation. He opened with fake laughter, a new set of jokes aimed at Elon. So, apparently, free speech now means billionaires get mad when you don't like their tweets. He smirked, looked at the camera, but something had changed. The crowd's laughter was weaker, forced. Online, it was worse. Clips of his monologue were met with thousands of angry comments. "Where's the joke? All I see is damage control. You're losing the room, Jimmy." And Elon stayed quiet. Not a single tweet, but he didn't have to speak because others stepped up. New voices rise. Remember Aria Salter, the journalist from The Stream? Her following tripled in 4 days. She started getting invited to podcasts, panels, live streams, not by the big networks, by the people. People hungry for raw, honest conversation, and she wasn't alone. Dozens of voices, small creators, thinkers, independent reporters, suddenly got noticed. Accounts once ignored were now getting thousands of views. Platforms like Rumble and Locals saw a spike in signups, as viewers searched for spaces where speech didn't need 6 layers of approval. Back in Los Angeles, inside a legal team, whispers started. Insiders began talking, quietly, carefully, to media blogs. One of them, a veteran writer's assistant from a popular streaming show, said, "It's not about liking Elon. It's about someone finally saying the truth. Everything behind the scenes is controlled. If even a guy like him gets shut down mid-interview, what chance do the rest of us have?" Her words went viral. But the real shock came when a former ABC executive, someone who had worked with Kimmel's team for years, posted a long thread on LinkedIn. She revealed how producers were often told to gently guide interviews away from certain opinions. "It's not traditional censorship," she wrote, "but it's still a script, and if you don't follow it, you vanish." That post was picked up by The Hill, The Daily Caller, and even TechCrunch. The truth was starting to leak out. Hollywood could laugh at jokes, but it couldn't laugh at the mirror Elon had just held up. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't stop people from waking up. People started wondering, how long have we been watching a version of reality that was carefully edited to keep us calm? While Hollywood scrambled, Elon was quietly building something no one expected, not even his biggest haters. 5 days after the interrupted interview, Elon reappeared, not on camera. This time he stood in a small room in Austin, Texas, in front of a whiteboard. No fanfare, no countdown, just one tweet: "If the old platforms don't want real dialogue, we'll build our own." At first, people thought he was joking, but soon, rumors began spreading from Tesla and X offices. Elon had already built a team: software engineers, former journalists, media specialists, people who were tired of the filters, people who wanted to build something real. By day 7, it had a name: Open Frame. Not just another platform, a framework, a space for real conversations. No interference, no shadow bans, no algorithmic games, just you, your voice, and whoever wants to listen. Skeptics laughed. "Just another app," they said. "It'll crash like Truth Social or Parler." But they missed the point. This wasn't left versus right. It wasn't tech bros versus mainstream media. This was people versus filters, truth versus the script. Elon didn't do ads, didn't beg for attention. He let Open Frame grow on its own. On launch day, Aria Salter was the first to go live. No makeup, no fancy lights, just her phone. She told the story of how she was once told to remove emotion from her writing because it made readers uncomfortable. Within minutes, 600,000 people were watching. Then came Dr. Rivera, a former policy advisor. He answered live questions about censorship and how public debate is slowly dying. Then Christopher Darnell streamed for 2 hours, no cuts, exposing How big companies tried to push AI away from uncomfortable truths. Every stream was different, but one thing was the same. Nothing was fake. It was raw. It was real. It was messy, and people loved it. Meanwhile, Jimmy Kimmel Live hit its lowest ratings in 8 years. Advertisers were nervous. Viewers felt the change. The laughs didn't land. The rhythm was off. But Elon? He didn't say a word about Kimmel, not once. He simply posted this, pinned to the top of his profile. You can silence the mic, but not the message. That quote exploded. People shared it everywhere. Artists made posters. Teenagers wore it on t-shirts. College debate teams opened sessions with it. Some called Elon a hero. Others still didn't trust him. But no matter their view, the same thing kept happening. People were talking again. In Nashville, a retired librarian started reading banned books out loud on stream. In Fresno, a former union rep opened honest chats with workers who felt ignored by both sides. In Missouri, a single dad hosted Q&As about mental health for anyone who just needed someone to listen. This wasn't hype anymore. This was movement. For the first time in years, people weren't being told what to think. They were thinking together. 2 weeks passed, then 3. OpenFrame crossed 10 million users, not just in America, in Brazil, in Germany, South Africa, South Korea. Real voices, real languages, no middlemen. The platform didn't promise truth. It just gave people a chance to find it, and that was enough. Elon still didn't do another big interview. No press tour, no book launch, just a few quiet posts. Think for yourself. And then, one night, no warning, he went live again. Same bookshelf, same black t-shirt, just him, and the soft sound of cars outside. He looked into the camera and said, "I'm not here to be right. I'm just tired of people pretending they know what's best for everyone. Tired of shows that say they want honesty, but can't handle it. Tired of free speech only flowing one way." He leaned in. "I'm not a hero. I'm not perfect. But I'm not afraid to speak. And you shouldn't be either. No outro, no music, just a cut to black." That was the clip that stayed, not the fight. With Kimmel, not the open frame launch. That one moment of a man who refused to beg for the right to speak traveled across the world. It played in schools, in churches, in group chats. Not because Elon was perfect, but because he was flawed and still stood up. Everyone took something different from it. Some were reminded, ask the hard questions. Some found courage. Walk alone, if you have to. But most people felt this. When someone tries to silence you, speak louder. Not with anger, not with hate, but with truth, even if your voice shakes. We live in a time when the loudest voices don't always say the most, where fake smiles are rewarded and honest thoughts get buried. But this moment, what Elon started, it cracked something open. It reminded us that real conversation isn't safe. It's wild. It's hard. It's human. And maybe, just maybe, the best way to fix the world is to talk like we're allowed to fix it. In Brazil, South Africa, and South Korea, conversations were happening in real time, in their own languages, with no middleman. OpenFrame didn't promise to fix the world. It didn't claim to tell the truth. It just gave people the mic, and that was enough. Elon still hadn't done another sit-down interview. No press tour, no book launch, just silence, with the occasional post to remind people to think for themselves. Then, one night, with no warning, he went live again. He sat in front of the same bookshelf, wore the same black t-shirt. The room was quiet except for the distant sound of traffic. "I'm not here to be right," he said. "I'm here because I'm tired of people pretending. They know what's best for everyone else. Tired of shows that say they want honesty but can't handle a real answer. Tired of pretending that speech is free when it only flows one way." He paused, leaning forward slightly. "I'm not a hero. I'm not perfect. But I'm not afraid to speak." He looked straight into the camera. "You shouldn't be either. No fireworks, no outro music, just a clean cut to black. And that was the clip that stuck. Not the fight with Kimmel, not the live stream, not even Open Frame's rapid growth. It was that one moment of a man refusing to beg for the right to speak that spread faster than any hashtag. It played in classrooms, in churches, in barbershops, in family group chats, not because Elon was flawless, but because he was flawed and still stood up. That lesson, it hit differently for everyone. For some, it was a reminder to ask questions, even if the answers make people uncomfortable. For others, it was about courage, to walk out, even if you have to walk alone. And for most, it was this: when someone tries to silence you, speak louder. Not with anger, not with hate, but with truth. Even if your voice shakes. We live in a world where the loudest voices don't always speak the truth, where performance gets rewarded and quiet thoughtfulness gets buried. But this moment, what happened with Elon, with Kimmel, with the millions watching, it peeled something back. It reminded us that real conversation isn't safe. It's messy, it's awkward, it's unpredictable. But it's the only way forward. And maybe, just maybe, the best way to fix the world is to talk like we're allowed to fix it.